what do you believe, and this is just you speaking for yourself, what do you believe are the core ingredients or factors to something like that happening? What will it take for something like that to happen?
I just talked about how that might look different, doing what's best for each child based on what's different. But in principle, just in broad generalizations, not saying this is what I do for every kid, but I believe one of the reasons that we have already achieved a certain amount of respect is because we are not afraid to change. We're not afraid to reevaluate and innovate. By and large, our campuses are safe. I think that the level of professionalism and education and training from our teachers is very high.
Okay.
Very high level of that.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's a lot of, already great things. Mm-hmm. So is in your mind the ingredients just keep doing what we're already doing? Or do you feel like
those
there's...
are the things I would keep the same.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
fair enough.
Something that I might change is the consistency of how our district applies, for instance, behavioral expectations. I think that would be my biggest thing that I would want to improve is that somehow, and I know that is so nebulous to wrap your arms around. If I put myself in the position of being an administrator or someone at the admin office, I don't know how I would come in and evaluate whether or not the campus behavior was where I thought it should be, because we all know. This is my business brain working, but we all know that the statistics can be skewed to represent whatever we want.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
The number of referrals or the number of, discipline referrals or anything like the documentation of that can be very skewed, because once it gets to our admin, they can uphold it or tear it up.
Okay.
So it's kind of like crime reporting.
Yeah. Yeah.
The police departments can make it look however they want it to look.
Absolutely.
Based on what's reported and what they respond to.
Sure.
So I would say that need to be shored up.
Why?
Because I think that, especially at this campus, we've had a lot more vandalism.
Okay.
Our campus is only 6 years old, but it looks like it's 10 to 12.
Wow.
I don't know if this is... And there are some things that go on here that I'm not sure. I don't know how to compare it to other campuses, but what I can tell you is that we have a very high turnover rate with our janitorial staff. And from what I know, and I don't know a whole lot, I think it might be very difficult to keep janitorial staff because the students here are not expected to respect property, period.
Wow.
It's very difficult to monitor them because our principal believes in trusting our kids with a high level of responsibility themselves, so they want less monitoring, I guess.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
So we let our kids go to the bathroom whenever they want to, or the 6th through 7th, they were up. The whole school was allowed to have gum when we opened, and there was gum everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Because we were not able to necessarily police all that.
Okay.
So then it took 2 years of that kind of destruction to set boundaries that we thought were more appropriate for different age levels.
Right on.
I'm referring back to our campus because it's the most recent experience I've had, but I have worked in Mansfield and I've worked in private school as well. But one example was we couldn't get the parents to follow the expectations about a basic traffic pattern. They wanted to all park out here in the parking lot and get their children to just run wherever they were to jump in the car.
Yeah.
And we were trying to give them information like, okay, that's not going to work because your child's not safe doing that.
Yeah.
They did anyway. So I said, just put some cones up. Just put a few cones up to let them know, no, this is not the way to go.
Sure.
Go this way. Our principal resisted that for 5 years.
Oh, my.
Until finally it got to be such a hazard that they put the cones up. And they even parked a car in front of the drive because the parents were moving the cones. That's the entitlement piece I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, of course, I can understand.
So, if I were to change something, a lot of different, just teacher to teacher in this building, and so I'm assuming that just kind of grows building to building, and then, type of school, whether it's an elementary school or an intermediate school or whatever.
I'm with you.
As opposed to feeder patterns. Those are very inconsistent experiences for the students and the parents.
And inconsistent specifically you're talking about in terms of behavioral expectations, maturity, professionalism, work ethic, those kinds of things.
And I think that heavily influences what they're able to learn. Because
okay,
we're not all about test scores, but it is a piece of data. Our test scores are not, they started out just at the bottom of the barrel when we first opened because we were so not caring about the test scores. And now over the years, we've started balancing that out to where our test scores have grown some.
Okay.
But they're still not, our philosophy here is not magic. It's not making our test scores skyrocket.
Okay.
So our philosophy that's different from another intermediate is not making us cut above.
I got you.
So I wouldn't say that more personal freedom and more personal responsibility is the key.
I see. Okay. Well, let's do this, and I want to respect your time.
Sure.
Let's say you're sitting across from Dr. Westfall. It's just you and him. He gives you the freedom to say whatever you want, ask whatever questions you want, give whatever feedback or comments you want. What would you say? What would be your comments or questions or whatever?
Okay, if I had an audience with him. That's really broad. Well, I can just totally off the, shooting from the hip. One of the things that I've said, like I said, I think that I teach because I feel like it helps our society.
Okay.
So big, broad picture. Okay, so as a community, as a society, I feel like as a teacher, I can have at least some influence, some positive influence on people, period. So, in the vein of that, what I think our society is missing right now that we could add to their experience in government-led education, public school, are coping skills right now. I think as a nation, I'm most concerned about that and their accountability for their own behavior. So to that end, I'm less concerned about their ability to do math.
Why is
at
that?
this point in time? Because as a society, I'm much more concerned about their integrity, about our society's integrity, our definition of it, our respect for each other. If I had those concepts shored up in my classroom, I could concentrate on the math.
I see.
I would not spend half of my time correcting behaviors. I would be able to spend more time going more into depth on the math instruction.
And do you believe, and is it your perspective that because I think we've always known middle school is where the behavior problems are.
Yeah, it's rough.
But are you saying that you feel like it is different now than it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I think it's evolved, at least from the time I was in school. The expectations, what kids were willing to consider doing in a school is much different now than what they're considering. The respect for authority is much different than when I was in school.
And do you think they're getting, it sounds like you feel like they're getting that from home?
I do. I think that starts in the family. I think that it can be heavily influenced in government schools.
Sure.
To teach that. And what I tell my students in my classroom is, this is going to be different than your home. I have different expectations. I'm a different person. This is a different relationship. So you might interact with your parents this way at home. This is what I expect for you to function with in a student-teacher relationship. And so this is what I expect of you.